This is an either make you or break you economy. You can complain for a countless number of things for which you can come up with. You grew up disadvantaged. I came up disadvantaged. I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York, one of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the country, in the United States of America. Right now I'm in Cartagena, Colombia, in the jacuzzi. And listen, everything at which I have been successful, it's because I educated myself, I put in the work. I did not grow up with any form of silver spoon in my mouth, no trust fund. I attended Borough of Manhattan Community College because I graduated out of high school by the skin of my teeth. Got credits from Florida, transferred them over to New York City. Then I went to the military. When I got out of the military, finally got my act together, and using my 2 cents, I said, let me go to school. I went ahead and applied for CUNY, the City University of New York. It's a complete public network of colleges in New York City. Did not make it because I did not have the basic understanding, the foundational education that I needed in order to attend college. I failed. I went ahead and took remedial classes. Then busted my ass, graduated the top 2% of my class in the Borough of Manhattan Community College, and got a scholarship into New York University, one of the best schools on the planet. Studied journalism. Then I couldn't even practice that once I got out of NYU, and because I was sending out pitches, doing things the hard way. However, that gave me the foundation to be able to learn what I do now, which is market websites, market businesses on the web, through search engine optimization, through online advertising, using Facebook, using whatever practice necessary, learning technologies, developing technologies, using Python, teaching people, teaching today's engineers to become tomorrow's computer scientists and computer professionals, to ensure that they move this country forward. Now, why do I say to make you or break you? Because there are a countless number of things for which I can complain. I could say, listen, I grew up without a father. I grew up with no form of guidance, which things for which I complained for several years, for decades, where I said, listen, I did not grow up with all the advantages all these people around me grew up with, right? And that's the reason that I'm in the position that I'm in. But I finally came to a realization that, listen, I have to forgive my father, forgive everyone, whoever did me wrong, because whatever it took to get me to this particular point in time, whether I thought it was negative at the particular point in time, life happened for me. Thus, I appreciate everything that I have, every single resource, because as long as I have my health, as long as I am alive, there is hope. So, if you take the information that I provide for you on the spreadsheet, that where I list links to information resources and application portals, to grants for everyone, and all types of business resources available to you, you will find everything that you need to succeed in life, to become independent, to become financially independent, if you choose to do so, to get whatever job that you want. Learning some of the most sophisticated technologies available to you, artificial intelligence, neural networks, machine learning. All of the information is available to you. I've showed you the Udacity scholarship. I've showed you how to take the starter guide to search engine optimization, where you can either market your website or market a client's website. If you don't have money to do it, then you can go ahead and do it for somebody else. All you have to do, as I've said it a countless amount of times, is I could do the Hulk Hogan for this one, sell something, which is you establishing the organized effort of running a small business. You don't have to have employees, you don't have to have a budget for employees. You could run the type of business that constitutes the biggest proportion of small businesses in this country, which is a non-employer firm. It's the official term used by the Small Business Administration to refer to businesses that are operated by one person. So you can do that right now. You think finding any level of success, even at my level, has come easy to me? No. I have had to resolve what I thought to be some of the most unsolvable problems in the universe. Completely disadvantaged. Again, as I told you, Jamaica, Queens, New York, grew up with a single mother who had to work up to 3 jobs at one time. Unable to be able to care for her kids the way she wanted to care for her kids. She could not go to school because she had to raise her kids. She was by herself. One of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the country. I told you. I said hi to some guy's girlfriend one time, like 16. He was like 21, 22 at the time or whatever. They had to pry a gun out of his hands. He wanted to shoot me because of it. He said later that he wanted to scare me, but sometimes people blow their top. They don't know what they're doing. They hacked up some kid in the Bronx. This was a couple of years ago. They chopped him up with a machete. And I grew up in the Bronx as well, off of Fordham Road. I used to hang out over there. I used to actually work on Webster and 174th off of Jerome and in Fordham and by Decatur Ave, 195. I used to be all up and down. They used to have like a whole line of dope heads at 5 o'clock in the morning throwing up, waiting to get their fix. My man's uncle, he used to come out, he used to be robbing people. He used to just blast his Uzi in the air and be like, give me loot, in front of drug dealers, robbing them. One time he knocked on a Dominican dude's Lexus car window. And as soon as the dude rolled the window down, it was selling drugs on his block. He stabbed him in his face. A couple of weeks later, they gave him a hot dose. He gave it to his brother-in-law. Brother-in-law ended up ice cold on the sofa. He was dead. He was poisoned. And he walked out of his sister's apartment. About a week later, they shot him up. My man told me that he picked him up. He didn't see anything, he didn't see any blood, but once he picked him up, then he saw all the blood gushing out of the holes in his back. All right, that's the neighborhood from which I came. This guy was like 25 years old when he got smoked. Like I told you before, I told you about this story. Another dude, he used to sell cocaine to a Columbia Law School professor. And this Columbia Law School professor, gave him a roofie or some kind of drug, had him passed out, and this guy then woke up in this Columbia Law School professor's home, raped. Came back the next day with a couple of friends. He told them they're gonna rob the place. Next thing you know, he tied this guy up with duct tape, I believe, or wire hanger in the bathtub, and he's cracking his skull and he's breaking his skull in with a brick. Now, this is not to try to front on how hard I am, none of that. It's just telling you the type of disadvantaged neighborhood in which I lived. We used to be on this block where we kept a 380 behind a radiator for protection. And there was a 16-year-old kid. He took it one time, and some kid looked at him wrong in the Coliseum out on Jamaica Avenue, and he shot him in the face. So, completely disadvantaged. No trust fund, nothing. First thing that I did, once I started my small business, started making a little money, I paid off my credit. And that's exactly what you need to do. That's why I tell you, this is a make you or break you economy. And I give you all of the tools that will allow you to do the same thing, to make as much money as you want, to learn how to sell. Because there is no more of a financially powerful skill than the ability to sell something, to take something and sell it at a profit. And in this age, it's very simple. The information age, you don't even have to be that technologically proficient in doing anything, or technically proficient. It's probably always been this way because, I take my lessons from Think and Grow Rich, Dale Carnegie, from J.P. Morgan, from all these history. I stay watching History Channel and I look at how all these people that made America and all these things like that, and I take a look at how they looked at these problems and said, listen, I'm not going to stop until I solve this problem. If there's a solution in your brain, if there's something that you can come up with, odds are that there is a way to get to that level. The only thing you got to work your ass, you got to learn how to do it. And if you don't want to learn how to do it, get someone smarter than you, or someone who would specialize in doing what you need to do technically in order to bring your idea into fruition. Understand? And you have all the tools to do so on bit.ly/bizss21. You can outsource the work. You can find people who are technologically proficient at building websites, building applications on Upwork. You can start by doing it on behalf of other people. You're always asking me in the comments section, number of viewers, where can I get startup funding? Where can I get funding for my startup? And the simple thing is to have your customers fund your startup. How do you do that? You put the idea out manually. The simplest way that I can come up with, let's say you want to build websites for people. You tell people about the technologies available. You tell them, listen, you start learning about this stuff, how you can start I'm in a jacuzzi, by the way, right here. How you can start selling your products, how you can generate more leads by building a website and configuring the website so it can have a better chance to appear for targeted keywords, for queries of targeted keywords on Google and the other search engines. And people will pay you for it. It's as simple as that. Once you know a little bit about it, trust me, you will probably know 5 to 10 times more than a number of C-level executives that need you on their team to get it done. And again, you don't have to do all the work. You simply communicate that you can get the work done. And you will be doing it. You'll just be assembling a team in order to get it done for you. Why do the Avengers whoop ass in Endgame? Because a team got put together, got assembled. Avengers assemble your squad. Even if you're operating what the Small Business Administration refers to as a non-employer firm, you've got Upwork. You've got Fiverr, where you can hire people from overseas at a fraction of a cost than you can hire them here. You can hire people from here as well, if that's what you want to do. You can still do it. Just charge the client, the person that's going to be paying you to go ahead and build their websites, or to market their websites, or build whatever, to pay you more. He doesn't have to pay you up front. At least 50% of the cost, or get people on retainer. You gotta put these packages together. You put a package together, get everything in writing. A number of my peers have had problems securing payments from clients. I've never had a problem securing payments from clients. I could count the amount of times I've had slight issues collecting money from my clients. I do good work for them. As long as I've done good work for them, if for some reason I have not been able to perform a particular job or whatever because of whatever circumstance, then yeah, I'll give them a refund. I don't run a casino, understand? Because there are circumstances beyond my control, but what I have under my control is that I can give you back your money. I'm like, yo, it didn't come to fruition, whatever. Here's the money. That's it. We part ways and it's a wrap. I burnt the coffee over here. See, I had my cook, got a private cook out here, fry some fish, and now I burnt the coffee because I got coffee burning. So to try to eliminate the fish smell up in the crib for my Airbnb anyway. By the way, we're in the 6th floor out here in Cartagena. But like I'm telling you, if for some, damn, the rag stuck to this. Anyway, like I'm telling you, you put the package together, you get the talent, and you become an agent for these technical professionals that can perform the work required for you to be able to charge, for you to sell something, for you to sell a service, for you to sell a product, whatever it is. There are people out there that can build it for you. You just charge more. If it costs you $200-$300 to build a website, you sell it for $1,000, for $2,000, $3,000. It all depends on the amount of return on the investment that the client is making in your organization or in the service that you are delivering. How much money are they going to get back? If you're gonna make $100,000 for them, then you can easily charge $10,000 for that service. If you do it within a week's time, you do it in a week's time. It can be done. A month's time, a month's time. You want a $25,000 retainer because you're gonna generate $250,000 for them based on the information that you learned by visiting bit.ly/bizss21, the free education tab. Most specifically, you can do that. There is no limit as to what. Stop limiting yourself. Stop limiting yourself, because every information resource available to you that will give you the tools for you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to face what I call those 1986 problems where you've got a supervisor huffing and puffing down your neck. I mean, I had a job one time as a telemarketer where they didn't want to let me call people friend. I was calling people friend, and I was so much in the habit of calling people friend that they gave me a warning they're about to write me up for it. I don't have those problems anymore. My clients are my bosses, and as long as I deliver on the positive return on investment they have in my services, then everything else, I don't have to get micromanaged, any of that. I just have to deliver on a deadline. and I ensure that my talent delivers on a deadline. And you can learn how to do all of that right in the spreadsheet. Go ahead. I've read that a number of you are starting to read through how to advertise your businesses online using the Google Ads platform, using the Facebook Ads platform. Those are the two biggest online platforms on the planet today. Those are the two that you have to master. Now, it's not simply about you learning the material, it's about you putting it to action. That's why it doesn't have to get that complex. You go out, you learn a little information, how to launch a campaign on Facebook, how to set up a landing page. You can use something like lead pages. Everything is so turnkey now. Lead pages where you put up a regular landing page where the objective is simple for the person who visits that landing page. Simply leave your contact information. So if they don't buy from you today, you can follow up with that person time and time again until they click the unsubscribe button. You keep on giving them content. There's all kinds of ways to encourage people to buy your products or services. Build an audience, because always a portion of that audience will be able to buy a product from you. Just consider it. Let's say you've got 1,000 people on an email list. If 1% of those 1,000 people buys a service from you, 1%, what's 1% out of 1,000? What, that's 10 people? 10 people, depending on how much that product costs. If that product costs $100, $200, let's say. 200 times 10 is what? $2,000 you just made off an email blast. And imagine you're doing that every single week and you're making $2,000 a week. And these are just conservative numbers I'm throwing at you right now. Even if you convert at a lower rate, you get better at it. Little by little, you start getting the hang of it. Just like when you first learn how to ride a bicycle. You were all wobbly at first, right? You're like shaking and all this stuff, and then you bust it. At least that's what happened to me. Unless some of you are more naturally inclined to ride a bike. I mean, I was wobbling on the bike, and then I flipped over the bike, had a handlebar. Get shoved into my gut as I'm falling down, scraping my hands and such. Little by little, then you start getting better the more you do it. Same thing. You start putting what you learn into practice. Next thing you become a master. It all becomes second nature. Make it!